I can't believe it. Coming from the farm girl, a farm girl, not no running water, no electricity, none of that, no modern tech, nothing. Everything was just, you know, primitive. Let's put it that way. And that's why I grew up. It's kind of like like a little, you almost call it a little forest, a forest or a village is where we live because they had a ticket behind our house where my brothers and sisters, not my sisters, but my brother and my cousin would swing on the vines. Yeah, it was so thick you could hardly get through it. So that's kind of where I grew up.
Where and that was in
In Texas,
Texas. What part
a
of
little
Texas?
town called Raywood, Texas.
Raywood.
It's called Raywood.
Raywood.
Yeah, and it's between Houston and Beaumont.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh
so
wow.
that's where I grew up at.
So was it hot in the area or?
Was it hot?
Yeah.
Hot and humid, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
hot and
And
humid.
you have 13 brothers and sisters.
At 13, and I was the oldest. I was a mom.
Oh.
By the time I was 8, because my dad had to work, to support, feed us, because he was like a sharecropper. And yeah, that's what he had to do until he managed to get, well, he was a sharecropper with the person that hired him. And that's how he got to do that.
Yeah.
So when he got our own place, then he started doing making his own things. And yep. But you might say I grew up in a kind of primitive.
So
It was no nothing. The nearest city was about 7 miles from where we lived. So and it wasn't very big either because if you blink your eyes, you'd gone through it. Uh, but that's where you had your grocery stores and your little, nothing big and elaborate. So
so how long have you been here?
I came to California in 1955 with my husband, who thought he was going to come to California and find gold, which he never found.
So that was the reason for coming over here for
Well, yeah, he wanted to come to California, so yeah.
was that a hard thing for you to do? Leave Texas?
Yes and no. Well, anyway, I'll make you laugh. My husband was in the service. He got out of the service, and he went to college to learn to be a mechanic. So he learned to be a mechanic. So when he decided to come to California, I don't know who he bought the car for, but he bought this car for $65. That's how he became the Californian. Okay, well, that wasn't bad enough. My uncle, who was married to my mom's youngest sister, she had 6 kids. She had two of them. He decided he wanted to come to California too. And then my aunt decided she wanted to come. We came in this car. We looked like a bunch of gypsies because we had a mattress thing on the top of the car with all clothing and stuff. And we had a canteen thing on the front of the car for water. Inside the car, we had to prop our legs like this because we had suitcases. And so we left on July 4th. So they would get out and the car at night and sleep on the ground while we stayed in the car like this all day and all night.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So finally we got to, after all this, we had one flat tire, by the way. It was the only one we had.
And he was able to fix it, right? Because he was a mechanic.
No, yeah, we did. Yeah, he fixed it.
Okay, good.
But when we got
Okay.
to Phoenix, I said, you know what, guys? You can drop me off right here. I'm not going another step.
You're done.
I'm done.
I need to stretch my legs.
So, okay, we get out the car, and he found this great big building. It was empty, it was vacant. I don't know what it was, but we went in there. We managed to get sleep there. So the next morning when I got up and went outdoors, I don't know how we slept. It was so musty. It was so stinky. I don't know how you slept in there. So then we continued on to California. So we ended up, of all places, right downtown Los Angeles with all this mattress stuff. The canteen out of America. I told you, we look like the Beverly Hillbillies, in other words. This is what we look like. So we finally made it to my cousin's house. She lived in Compton. And she had 6 kids. And we ended up staying there for overnight for a few days till my husband found a place. So we found a place over in Los Angeles, over in Jefferson and Adams, somewhere in that area. So we finally managed to rent a room, and my husband found a job with a manufacturing company, and then he started working for them. And, he kind of graduated with. We finally ended up buying a house in Compton, and so the company moved out that way also, and he got to be a supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he worked his way up to supervisor. So
And was there a lot of like culture shock when you came from Texas or from your
it took
town?
me 6 months to get over that trip.
Oh wow.
It was that brutal. I, it honestly took me 6 months to get over that trip. I was having nightmares at night. Traveling that for the first time,
Yeah.
and all the adventures we've had with sleeping. It was just too much. But anyway, I finally survived, and then I got to go. I wanted to continue because I was learning how to sew, be a seamstress. So we found a place called Cali Trade School in Los Angeles when I went to school, and I got a job in this sewing factory downtown on, I think it's 6th and Broadway, if I'm not mistaken. So I started working there as a seamstress. We got 25 cents for a skirt.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeesh.
yeah, yeah. So
Man.
it was an adventure. But my whole life seems like now it's been an adventure when I think about it. And so I worked there for a while, and having to get the bus the first time they had those electric cars, and you had to wait in the middle of the street. And I didn't even, I've never had been on a bus before.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn the hard way. My husband would drop me off, and then I had to get the bus, the electric
The
car.
trolley?
Huh?
Was it the trolley? The
Yeah,
red car trolley?
it was the blue line
Oh, the
when
blue
I
line.
was in LA.
Oh,
The
okay.
red one used to go to Wilmington. It
Oh.
would go through Compton to Wilmington.
Ah, okay.
So and his mom lived right across the street from the track where the red car would go.
Mm.
Yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
awesome. I wish we still had those. I wish we still had that. The red trolleys and the blue cars and all
Yeah,
that.
we have the blue line. I didn't ride the red car, but the blue, yeah,
The blue.
a
Nice.
lot. I finally got used to getting. You had to get in the middle of the street to get on the blue line. You know that. You
No.
had to get in the middle of the street.
because it was in the car, like where it would go by.
Yeah,
It was in the middle, and so you would have to
yeah.
walk to it.
Oh, that's no wonder they stopped doing that. That sounds
Sounds
dangerous.
It
dangerous.
was.
Oh wow.
At first, Billy. Yeah, but it was by the grace of God. I said, God takes care of babies and fools. So I managed to do all right. So I ended up doing it all by myself and going to school, going to work. And so, yeah. So, yeah.
So what was the toughest thing that you did in school? Like what the subjects that you liked and didn't like in school?
What was that?
The subjects that you didn't like in school?
I was learning how to sew and be a
Okay.
seamstress.
So that was the only class you were taking?
Yeah, I was just taking the one class. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I was just taking the one class because I started when I was in Texas in school, but then when I came here, I wanted to continue. So then I found the trade school, so I went there to finish learning how to sew, and then the rest of it I just learned on my own.
What did you like to do other than like when you weren't working? What did you guys do for fun? What did you listen to?
For fun,
Yeah.
I went to church. That wasn't fun, but I've always been a church person. So I found the nearest church, and I was just going to church. And my husband had friends, and he liked to play baseball.
Oh, okay.
So he played baseball.
So at church, you would make a bunch of friends, right? You made a lot of friends at church?
Not a lot, but one of his best friends had moved. I had already moved out here also, so we get together with them. Sometimes we go to the beach.
Okay.
Mostly we went to the beach because we didn't have any money. You could just pack a lunch and go to the beach.
Mhm.
We used to go to Venice Beach and all the beaches up in that area.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
And did you drive?
Yeah, I started driving 1947.
1947. What was your first car?
I didn't own it. I don't know whose car it was, but I think
It was someone's car, huh?
I remember it was like a convertible that didn't have a top on it. And I remember I wanted to learn how to drive, and so they said, okay. So they took me way out on a dirt road. That's what we had. We didn't have paved streets. Way out. I just, okay, and they just said, we're going to leave you here, and you just better get home by yourself. But I did. I followed those, so that's how I started driving.
Wow.
Yeah,
Figured it
so
out.
I started driving.
And that was a stick shift car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to learn to stick shift.
Oh, okay.
I say everything in my to learn fast. I did. And I was always sickly as a child. And my mom's older sister said, if I could drive, she could drive. She had never tried. But when I started driving, she started driving. She never drive a car.
Oh.
But she did before then. She never tried to drive. But when I started driving, she started driving.
You were her inspiration.
I guess so.
That's great.
I never will forget. You bring back so many memories. My goodness, I forgot about that. Yeah. No, but no, everybody was shocked that of all people, I was driving.
Oh, and you're still driving.
Yeah.
You're
How
still,
about that?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'd rather drive on the freeway. People think I'm crazy. But I'd rather deal with people on the freeway than drive with these people on the surface street. They break the law. I don't know how in the world they got a license. They must not have license. Honestly. I don't, if they do, I don't know how they got it.
Yeah, they don't, especially here in Long Beach. It's
Yeah, I
really
know.
tough.
But I hear this everywhere.
Yeah. You have to be real careful crossing the street and
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't make any difference whether you're driving or walking because I told you, one morning I was at Mass, I was crossing the street, and this lady was like this on me with her car. And if she had stepped on the gas, she would have knocked me over. That's just how. So, one friend started having me across the street, or I go to the crosswalk where the kids cross the street. So it doesn't make any difference. I just dread going to the Atlantic. When you're trying to street, people are making a left turn in front of you. They don't respect you walking at all. No, in the middle of the street here, they're making left turns in front of you. It's
Yeah.
really scary.
yeah. They're not even looking. They're on their cell phones and
Yeah.
it's dangerous.
I don't know. I don't understand it. Sometimes blows my mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to talk about that you feel that we could learn from, or that you want to have like younger people listen to and like maybe just learn from you?
Well, if my life anybody can benefit from it, I mean, that would make me very happy. It really would. I love my happiness is when I see young people doing something constructive with their lives. That makes me so happy because it's so important for our young people to do something constructive with their lives. That would be my thing. My thing is, since I've always been around children, I love to be around children. I love to be around the elderly people like myself. I don't have a lot of friends because I've always been working and I teach classes, so I've always been involved. But I love being around elderly people, young people, children. I can't help but love them after being older than 13. They were like my kids because when I wanted to go on Sunday to play with my cousin, they cried if I left the house. They wanted me to stay home. They didn't want me to leave them.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
They were attached
we're a
to
close
you.
family. So, and another, I think another story I'd like to tell you about is I'd like to tell you about my mom and my dad. My mom and my dad moved from Louisiana to Texas, and also the rest of the family. Everybody moved from Louisiana to Texas. And like I said, it's a small place. So, and everybody had large families. So, my mom's dad decided he wanted to hire a teacher to come so the kids could get an education. So, when the white people found out about it, they wanted to kill him. So they had to hide the man out to get him out of town so they wouldn't kill him.
Wow.
So consequently, my mom never got a chance to read or write, and my grandfather didn't have time because he had to work because he had such a large family. So my mom never learned to read or write because of that, and when it came time for me to make my first communion, my dad had to teach me all my prayers. And so my mom couldn't because she knew all her prayer in French, so she couldn't even teach me my prayers in English. So my dad did. And so I knew if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be here. You know, if you have a mother, you're not here, right? But my mom, I was closer to my dad than my mom, I think, for that reason. And because I wasn't like a I wasn't a servant, but I was the oldest, and she had to have someone to help her. And so I was the person that always took over kind of like a mother role instead of a daughter role.
And when you didn't have to take care of your brothers and sisters and not do that, what would you do on
Well,
your free time? Did you have any? And like, what did
no,
you do? No free time.
no,
It was just always your brothers and sisters.
yeah, yes. I am. I had to teach them their prayers because my dad was busy working after he taught me. I had to teach them their prayers. And so I'll make you laugh at this one. I've always been, I've always been a person who loved going to mass and going to church. So when I made my first communion, I was in the middle of the floor with a chair in the middle of the floor. I'm here praying, everybody walking around me and everything. And I was just so, I don't know how to describe it, but being receiving my first communion was just, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe. But I wanted my brothers and my sisters to be able to go to to the Blessed Sacrament, the Eucharist. So what I would do, I'd have them line up, all the little stand up, and I'd go cut a potato, and I serve them. How funny is that? I don't funny that. But I didn't know. I just was doing it come naturally.
Yeah. You're preparing them. Yeah, that's great.
And so they've always had, we've always been really close, but yeah, that was. But I had to get up in the morning and make sure they had breakfast after school, and I ended up going to school. When I first started school, I was in first grade, and they thought I was so smart, they put me in second grade
Right away.
Right away.
right away.
You're
So
so much
then,
more.
when I got to seventh grade, I had to stay home so much with the children, and all of my friends were just way ahead of me. I just got disgusted and frustrated. I just didn't want to go to school anymore. So I just stayed and took care of the children and as best that I can. And yeah, but I say in spite of everything, here I am.
Here you are. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So that's kind of my little bit of my childhood story. Not a lot, but a little touching here and there. You bringing back things that just pops into my head.
Oh, please. That's what we're here for. You know,
Exactly what
we're
we
trying to like trigger stuff in you to like.
Well,
bring it all
you're
out.
not having no trouble triggering it because ever since they wrote that story about my life, everything's been triggered in my head. I'm in the middle of the night, I wake up, I start thinking about either sad or I'm either crying or I'm laughing. Because I never had time to think about my life.
Yeah.
I certainly never planned to get married because I didn't know. I didn't know about marriage. In other words,
Yeah.
I didn't even have a boyfriend. But one Sunday they had a church bazaar, And
That
my
sounds
mom and my
fun.
dad knew I was always home, right? So they was having it at church. So they figured that they needed to take me out for, take a break. So they go downtown and buy me a pair of shoes. Oh, they measured my feet first. So they went on a piece of paper. They went downtown. They came back. They brought the shoes back. Too small. And it was almost time for the store to close. So they rushed back downtown. They bought another pair back. Too big.
Oh no.
Okay, so the Sunday they take me to the church bazaar, but everybody was there. So in the mean, well, anyway, I met my husband because we were writing back and forth. That was the only outlet that I had. I like to write, and so when I first met him, we started writing each other. And I think he was in service for a couple of years. We started writing back and forth. So anyway, the way I met him was he was with his friends walking around. Here I am slapping around these big shoes. They were all laughing at me. That's how I met him. So I was laughing, and so he took up for me. So that's how he told me that he was going to be going to the service. He wanted us to ride back and forth. So we did. I write. So that was my only outlet, besides taking the kid, was writing back and forth with him. So in one of the letters, after, well, I don't know how long, he asked me, let's get married. I said, I don't want to get married. I didn't know anything about getting married. I never thought about it,
Yeah.
even though he had asked me. I said, I don't want to get married. Okay. So I found out he was coming on leave one weekend, and at that time in Texas, African Americans, they didn't have black doctors or anything like that. They were all white, so nurses included. So my aunt had to go to the hospital, and they let people go with her because they said they didn't have any nurses for them. So I went to the hospital with my aunt. So he came to the hospital the next morning. He said, let's get married. I said, I don't want to get married. So, okay, he left. So I was still at the hospital. He comes back with a marriage license.
Oh.
And I being seen my name on it, I was so naive, so dumb. I didn't know that. I said, oh my God, I guess I have to get married to myself. So he takes me down. We could walk this way. He worked for the Justice of the Peace before he left to serve. That's who he worked for.
Okay.
So that's why could get a marriage license so easily. So, okay, we go down, so he marries us, just like that.
Oh.
And on the way back to the hospital, we passed in front of the Catholic church. I said, oh my God, I can't go to the communion. I said, go ask Father if he can marry us. So he goes to the rings the doorbell. The church was separate. There was a white church.
Oh.
Okay,
Okay.
so Father said, you have to go to your own parish. So, okay, he takes me back. He takes me back to the hospital. And I said, I'm going home. It was on a Thursday. I said, I'm going home. So, okay, I don't remember how I got home when I got back home. Okay, I get home. I didn't tell my parents anything. I didn't know what to say, I guess. I didn't tell them anything.
Yeah.
So that was on Thursday. So he said, I tell you what, I'm going to get my Uncle Ivory to pick us up on Sunday, and we're going to go to his church where he went to school also. And I'm going to ask Father to marry us. Okay, they pick me up, take me to the church. I'm in the car. He comes back in the car and tells me, Father said, I don't give this marriage 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we drive to his parents' house. That's a Sunday, right? So here we are at his mom's house. We're in the room. So all of a sudden, I hear my dad's voice. So I don't know what's going on. Nobody asks me anything. Nobody tells me anything. I don't know how to ask questions. Nothing. So my dad said, "Let's go home," and he took me home. I get home, didn't nobody ask me anything. So all of a sudden he said, you're gonna get married church on Tuesday night."
Just like that.
Just like that. Like, thank you for letting me know.
No, I didn't even have anything to get married in, so they went across the street. Asked my cousin, she had a suit. They borrowed her suit. They dressed me in the suit. They takes me over to church. they found my his youngest sister was the bridesmaid, and another guy was. So Father marriage was on Tuesday night. So I think he was there about maybe 10 days, I don't know, miserable days. But anyway, he had to be back, and he was supposed to be going to, I think it was, I forget the name of the place at the moment. But he had to be gone. He was supposed to be gone for 3 years in the Army.
Hmm.
10 months later, he was out.
Oh,
Don't ask me how he got out from this day. I couldn't tell you. I don't know how he got out. It wasn't a dishonorable, it was a general discharge, whatever it was. Needless to say, that was something else. Oh my God. I ended up being in that marriage for 30 years, and I never was in love with the guy, honestly, but, you know, I was married to him, so. And after 11 years, we didn't have any children, and I was used to children, and I didn't know what else to do in my life. I'm taking, going to school and everything, so I decided I want to adopt a child. So at that time, they were trying to adopt brown babies from Germany. But we found a place in Los Angeles called St. Anne's. So we checked with them, and we decided to adopt a child. So we adopted my oldest daughter, Teresa. We went there and we adopted her.
what year was that?
That was, oh my gosh. She was born in 58. It had to be 59, I think, probably. Because she was born in 58 or 59. I think she was born in 58. I have to check with her. I think she'll be 65 this year. So we adopted Teresa. 8 months later, the lady at the St. Anne's called and said, "We have a little girl here. She's 2 weeks old, and the people that are keeping her can no longer keep her. We're looking for someone to keep her for 2 weeks. Would you be willing to do that?" I said, "Yeah." So we went to pick her up. We said, "Well, let's take her home." So we adopted her,
Oh,
just like that. I tell you, that's what my life is. This thing just happened. Nothing planned. I tell you, God has planned my life from the beginning until now. I've planned none of this stuff. Honestly, the only thing I ever planned was to adopt Teresa. That's it. Everything else in my life has just been where God wanted me to go.
hmm,
And I try to follow. That's it.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And I look back now, and I never had time to think about myself, And then after I adopted, and 11 years later, well, my remarried in between Anne and I don't remember, it was in the 70s anyway. I had my natural child, Veronica, and so that was a shock. Because I thought, because before we left Texas, we were trying to have a child, but we couldn't. And when we moved to LA, we found out it was my husband's fault. So he never could see a child. So I didn't know I could get pregnant either. So, but God said, yes, you can.
And here she is.
And unfortunately, I had a miscarriage after that. But yeah, I don't know where to go from here, folks.
You're doing great.
I am?
Oh, yes. You are great. Oh, my God. Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you're tired, if you need to take a break, if you're done, you tell us. We are here for you. We can do this again. We could come back. Whatever you feel like. I'm here for you. I want to hear your stories, but I want to make you feel comfortable.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you how I got into ballet. I got a lot of other things than that I can tell you about, but I want to go to ballet now. How I got into ballet. I was at everything happens from church, okay? I was at church, and this lady, young woman, was from New York, and she was a convert, and we became friends. And so she was taking ballet in New York, and she moved to, I think it was Gardena, but she lived somewhere, but she ended up coming to our church. So she said, "Why don't you come to the ballet with me?" I said, "I don't know anything about ballet. I didn't even heard about ballet when I was in Texas. I never even heard the word ballet." Oh, she said, "Well, why don't you just come and watch?" I said, "Okay." I was 32. I went and sat in a watch. Here I am since 62 and still in the ballet.
Good for you.
Wow.
I thought when I first started taking classes, it was I had a great teacher. She was a professional dancer that danced with George Balanchine, the famous Russian choreographer, and she was one of his dancers. She was a great, great, great teacher, wonderful teacher
Where was
in
that?
Gardena.
In
In
Gardena.
Gardena.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she encouraged me. And when I first started, since I didn't know anything about ballet, I started with the little kids. They were all along the bar, little kids, and there I am, this big person here with the little kids. So finally, I graduated to the little class. 2 hours for class, I thought I was gonna die. It was so hard. You think that's hard?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
2 hours. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she was a great teacher. Oh, she was so wonderful. So, after I took there from '62, and then from '64, I started teaching. So I've been teaching. No, '66, I started teaching. So I've been teaching since '66, and I decided also to take class with the little kids because my kids, I wanted them to have ballet also. And I had to drive them to Gardena, and I lived in Compton. I said, well, I'm not going to sit and watch you guys. I'm going to join you guys. So I did. So so that my kids got to my daughter Ann was a great dancer, but she never did do it professionally. And Teresa was a track runner. She almost got into the Olympics until she came down to the flu with the flu, and she couldn't go to the finals. And so, yeah. And then Veronica started taking over at Long Beach Ballet. That's my youngest. She got a scholarship at Italy coming to New York.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I had to try to support her to keep her there, but I couldn't, so she had to come back. In the meantime, she was brokenhearted, but I just couldn't afford it, because I was a single parent, and I could just do so much. And so she came back, and she got a after they saw her dance over in Los Angeles, she got to dance with oh my gosh, he's gonna kill me, Francisco. She got to dance with his company, and then she got to dance with the Hawaiian company. She danced with different companies, and with the Ailey company, of course, even a little bit, not as much as she wanted, because she couldn't stay. So she came back, and I said, "You got a chance to dance with all the other companies here in L.A." In the meantime, I have to tell you about my adventure again. That's another adventure of completely unplanned. I had a friend, his name, he passed away last year, David. He was my ballet person who takes me to all the ballets, different places, Orange County and everywhere in Los Angeles. We always go to ballets together. So we found out that the Ailey company was going to be in Orange County. So he said, let's go. I said, okay, let's go. So we went that Friday night. It was a Friday night, and we would be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We went that Friday night, and so the next day I came home. The next day I called Veronica. She lived in Malibu. I said, Veronica, guess what? David took me to see the Ailey company last night. She said, oh, no, Mom, that's not. I said, Veronica, David took me last night to see the company. The phone would click, just like that. She hung up the phone. So, okay, she called me back a little bit later. The reason she did that, she wanted to get tickets so she could make sure she could get a seat.
Oh, she wanted to.
Okay, so they live in Malibu, and they had to pass you to get to the senior center over in Orange County, right? So I said, okay, well, why don't you pick me up, because you're coming right by here, and I can go with you guys. So they had tickets because that's why she hung up. She got tickets. So they take me to the theater, and they got tickets for me in the orchestra seat. They had in the balcony because they already had tickets. Okay, so I get down to in the orchestra section. I'm sitting down. A lot of pretty girls from that door here to like right here. All these pretty girls, all of you sitting in a row. I'm sitting over here. This guy, they had this piece called Minus 16. And what they do, they'd go pick different people out in the audience, different women out there. I think it was 6 dancers. They'd go all over the stage and pick out 6 women, bring them on stage. This guy gets in front of me and he does this.
Oh.
I just look at him. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of his way, So he wouldn't move. Kept trying to get out. He wouldn't move. I said, "Oh, I might as well give up." Okay, we crossed in front of all these people. He takes me on stage, and I thought about. When we got to the end of the stage. I said, "Oh my God, Veronica's going to see me." That's my daughter, and she's a good dancer. I'm not just saying because my daughter, but she's a great dancer. I said, well, it's too late now. So I get on stage and I'm freaking out because I knew Veronica's watching me and all these people in the audience is watching. You know how big the secret system is.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we started dancing, and so he's picking me up, singing about people. I'm not the only person. It's six other women on there. Okay, we got about six little excerpts, different pieces, and I'm kind of getting into it by then. And all of a sudden, we dancing this slow piece, and he falls backwards on the floor like this, and I was just going crazy, laughing at me because I didn't know what to do. I said, well, I'm not falling on the floor to myself. So he said, you can go off stage now. But the piece ended with them straight around the floor. And so they were all around me on the floor with the arms and legs spread out like this. So I get up, and everybody is yelling and hollering. I get a standing ovation. And everywhere I went, and here I am crying. Veronica's come up, she's crying.
Oh, that sounds like a great adventure and
Everywhere I go,
experience.
people are saying something to me. It took me 3 days to wind down. I'm not used to all the applause and everything. So that was my adventure over at the Secret Show.
Wow, that must have been an amazing moment for
Oh,
you.
I told you it was nothing I planned. I told you I didn't plan my life.
Yeah.
So all these things happening to me, and so
God's will, right?
God will.
Yeah.
You know what I say? I tell everybody God planned my life. The only thing I ever thought I planned was adopting Teresa, but other than that, everything else that happened to me is not. It hasn't been my plan. I just go like, okay, Lord, you lead. I try to follow.
That's wow. Man, that's great.
So that's kind of my. As I say, it's a tip of the iceberg. I have to leave a lot out in between, but that's kind of the thing that's popping up in my head at the moment.
Okay.
I hope it's good enough.
Oh, it's great. No, it's great. Oh man, everything. Yes, yes. If you want to be done, we can be done. It just I don't want to overwhelm you or get you tired.
Oh no, I won't get tired.
I think you'll get tired before.
No, I'm not tired.
Oh, okay. I just also I want to see what we can learn from you as much as possible.
Well, I
You've had a
think,
lot of experiences.
well, if there's anything you want me to ask me, but if I try to answer it, because I've certainly have had a lot of experiences. I don't know. I said I'm not the smartest person about a lot of things, because I said I just never think about stuff. Stuff just people, this thing just pops into my head sometimes. But as far as planning stuff, I never planned any of this. I never
Yeah.
planned. I never planned. Made any plans. I hear people say I plan to do this and this and so many years. I just don't. I never did that.
You just do.
I just do.
You just do. You just are.
Yeah, I just dive in. Look what you did. You knocked over the plant.
Oh.
She's broken everything that has a glass in here is broken. But I have to say, she's a darling cat. She is a great cat.
She's beautiful.
She's wonderful.
She's a beautiful
You
looking
would be
cat.
surprised the thing I tell you she does. She's so great. One morning I woke up, she was rubbing my face with her paw. Because I rub her face. And then one morning, I got cuddling on her chin like that. One morning she was under my neck trying to cuddle. Love classical music. She'll sit and listen to the music.
Oh yeah.
And she likes to play ball. She's a great cat.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So, uh, did you bring the plant? Who brought the plant? Did you?
We brought it
Oh,
for
I'm
you.
sorry.
Yeah.
She knocked it over. She
Well,
knocked
okay.
over
Oh no,
everything.
no, I'll sweep this up when.
Don't worry about it. Thank you very much.
Dirt there.
I'm a plant lover. I love plants. I think that's why God blessed me with a garden. That's why I'm so overgrown. I have to have And then people come over and try to, I was worried about it because the inspectors came over about 3 months ago and they said it was fine. But everything just grew up out of proportion, you know. And so then I don't know, the insurance company started complaining to the landlord. So I had to have everything trimmed back. But everybody called it the aces back there for a while because you could hardly get through. So last Friday, one man from church came over. He was a tree trimmer for the city of Long Beach, and he's retired. He belonged to our church, so he came over and he trimmed it. And a person came over yesterday that I'd asked before, but he was on a fishing trip. So he came yesterday and kind of took over and finished some of the stuff that he didn't finish. So thank God we got the trees trimmed. So now I just got to rearrange my garden to get rid of some of the stuff. Like my house, I have too much stuff, and I want to get rid of it. But with COVID, I just haven't been able to do it because you have to pack stuff up, and I'm so involved with the house and the garden and the car and the cat and me. And
Gotcha.
thank God my adopted daughter here comes over and yells me out with my
She
photo.
helps you
Yeah,
out.
yeah. So I adopted her. So yeah. So
We can take a break.
and you sure?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you
Okay.
need, yeah, you're
You
fine.
want to go see my garden while you're on a break?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Story came out. I try to tell my students. I said, well, maybe about a month or so ago, Debbie and all of us. I said, you know what? It breaks my heart. I go to church. People I used to see walking now can hardly move anymore. It just absolutely breaks my heart. And you can't, at my age, sit down and watch TV and expect to be healthy. It just does not work that way.
Yeah.
You have, and another thing I found out about is you have to keep your body stretched. If you have a stretched body, you have a young body. Is that important, stretching your body? I've learned that because the only time I might get an aching pain is if I'm not
If you're not moving.
exercising or moving.
Okay.
And so I was telling Debbie and everybody looked at me and said, change your cane for motor stationary bike, folks. If you want to watch TV, put your thing in and ride. It's good for your legs. It's good for your body. You know, every your heart. It's good for everything. It really is. And so I've had a stationary bike. And whenever I used to get migraine headaches, I get on my bike and ride it till it go away. Anything happen to me, I get on my bike and ride it till it go away. Because your body has natural endorphins to make you feel better.
Yeah.
So that's the way I live it.
Let's keep moving.
Keep moving.
Just keep moving.
It's good for
I
That's the way
like
you.
I
it.
do it. For I don't know about you, but that works for me. And I'm not, everybody's body is different. And nobody's body is the same, and you have to know your limitations. I'm not saying to overdo it, but you have to do something.
And I
Yeah.
know you have some other causes that you help out with too.
Yeah. Father Scott, I work with him a lot. He works a lot with homeless people, so I met him in, I think, 1980. And so what he does is he can invite people that are homeless or people who have never been to symphonies to go to somebody's house. He didn't want no bought food. You have to cook it. It had to be home cooked food because people and homeless, they're used to not eating out or not having a good
Yeah.
home cooked meal. So once a month, he brings over some guys who's never been to a symphony, or even if they have been for the symphony, if they're homeless, they'll come over, and I'll make dinner for them, and then we'll go to the symphony.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's during symphony season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah. And I get a lot of, I find out if you want to be happy, give yourself away to people, your brothers and sisters. Don't. I mean, so many people out there need a smile, need a kind word or something. It's important.
It
It
is.
really is important. So
Okay.
we have to love each other. Love all of our brothers and sisters.
Like that. Like that.
Yeah.
You know, we've been talking, and we just pressed record and started talking to each other. but we never introduced you. We never got your name. We didn't. We.
It was like
Well, we know
we're
each
so
other, but
excited.
people listening would not know your name, and you know. So,
Well, actually, my name not that important, is it? Okay, well, is Mildred good enough?
okay.
The last name?
No,
Okay.
Mildred is fine if that's what you want to be called.
Oh, you can know my last name if you want. His last name, my last name is Mildred, and my last name is Cadillo. Everybody call it Cadillo, Kudu, or whatever. But it's supposed to be Cadillo.
Dio.
But no one says that. But it's just fine. Yeah.
I'll probably put that in the beginning just because, so they can know your name, so they can know who they're listening to. We were
Mildred.
just so excited. I was just, I was like, wait a minute, I think I forgot something.
Oh my God! Like, I want to thank you guys for taking out the time to listen to my. I'm always here, but just me and my cat. I tell everybody I live with God, me and my cat. That's it.
Okay.
I have friends, but most of the friends I have, since I teach classes, I'm always busy. I don't have a lot of friends, but I do at church. I have some friends, but mostly, basically, I'm here most of the time in my garden or in the house, trying to get stuff done, get ready for the next class or whatever. But thank
Keep
God
you
I can
busy.
still move and I can keep myself busy.
Good.
So I can't wait to get back to my pen. That's for right now. Something else popped into my head. Who knows?
Piano lessons is the next goal.
I hope I
Okay.
bored you guys to death.
No way, not
Not
at
at all.
all. Thank you so much for your time.
Not at all.
Is
Oh,
there anything that I missed or that you would want to talk to or that you would want to say before we
Wanna
finish
share
this?
with us.
You want
what's
to
that?
share with us? Anything you comes to your mind right now? Anything that you want to tell people about yourself or about
Well,
traditions
you
that you
heard
want to
enough
keep?
about me.
Some values that you want to like know be known for. Something that you want to tell the world if you can tell something to the world.
Yeah, the thing that I find in my life, everybody's different. If you have God in your life and you try to keep His commandments, you'll have a good life. It's that simple. God created this world and He gave us rules to follow. And if we do that, I think we'll be happy. And we all flawed. Keep that in mind. So nobody's perfect. We have to love each other no matter what. Um, that's God's command for us to love Him and our brothers and sisters.
I think we should end it there. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, that's just the way
Sure.
that's me.
It's a value that you hold and you abide to, so makes you the wonderful person you are.
All
You
right.
know, life is not easy sometimes, and we all, you're going to go, if you live on this earth, you're going to have struggles. That's just life. It's been from the beginning and be there till the end of times. So it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
It's always going to be something. So we just have to learn how to cope. And I think if you stay close to the Lord, you can go through anything. That's my advice. That's what I have to say for my own life.
Perfect. I love it.